Okay, so we're gonna do tonight's online modeling lab. And the way you find it is in Blackboard. Click course content, and then open up chapter 1 through 2, and then open up online modeling lab 1 and 2. And then I'm going to reset it and start it. Now you only get 2 attempts per answer box. That limits the amount of guessing. But if you answered all the answer boxes, you don't like your score, you can reset the problem and redo it from scratch. Let's go ahead and open up the question. There's only one. And I have Excel open. I also have Desmos.com open. I'll show you how to use that. But for the most part, we're going to use Excel. Okay. And what we have here, we have the demand schedules of Jill, of Bill, or Lil, Bill, and Jill. And notice as the price goes down, they buy more and more books, right? Each buys more and more books. And if these are the only 3 people in this market, if we add 9, 16, and 10 up, we get the market quantity demanded, right? And the best way to do this is just do it in Excel. So I'm going to copy these numbers to Excel. Right click or 2-finger click on a mouse laptop, copy. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to paste, and I'm going to pick match destination formatting. Now notice everything's in one cell here, right? So we can't analyze all the data in a table in one cell. So I'm going to delete this. I have to come back over here, and I have to do what? I have to grab something outside the table. I'm grabbing the period. You could actually grab the word below. I'm going to grab something out of the table and then get everything in the table, right? Copy. And then I'll come over here and paste it. And I'm going to delete this first row, right? And again, I chose what? I chose match destination formatting, okay? If you choose the first option, you maintain the HTML formatting. You bring in the color and the font and whatnot. But always pick match destination formatting. Okay. Notice the numbers are on the right side of the cells, and the letters are all on the left side of the cell. That means Excel has copied these in as numbers, and it's copied these things in as strings of characters or just strings. Okay. Now in Excel, what we want to do here at the price of 17, I'll make that red. We want to add up these 3 quantities to get the market quantity, right? The way you do that is you're going to double click on cell E3 here. You might have to backspace because it copied in some spaces from HTML. Type equals sum, and then highlight the quantities. There's 3 quantities right there, right? There's the quantity for Lil, the quantity for Bill, and the quantity for Jill, and then hit enter. So if Lil, Bill, and Jill are the entire market, then the quantity demanded in the market is 35. So we can come over here and we type 35 here. Okay. Notice I got a green check mark there. And then I can type, well, I got spaces in there, so I got to delete, right? I can type equals sum, and then I can highlight these 3 again, right? And so the quantity demanded in the market is 43 when the price is 13. Okay. Now I can continue writing the code, or the cool thing about Excel is I can highlight this and just drag it down. Yeah, I can just drag that down, and then it drags down that formula, right? So yeah, it drags down the formula. So Excel is a kind of a really cool tool. When the price is 9, Lil buys 13, Bill buys 24, Jill buys 14. Together they buy 51. When the price is 5, Lil buys 15 books, Bill buys 28 books, Jill buys 16 books, right? Together they buy 59. So the market quantity demanded, the quantity demanded for the market is just the sums of the individual quantities demanded by the different consumers at a given price, right? So we filled in the missing table values above. Now we're going to just answer some questions, right? How many books does Lil purchase at 17? Well, she purchases 9, right? How many if the price decreases to 5? Well, she'll purchase 15, right? That's an increase of 6, right? 6 plus 9 is 15. So when the price dropped from 17 to 5, Lil purchased 6 more. How many books does Bill purchase at 17? Well, at 17, he purchases 16 books. How many does he purchase at 5? Well, he purchases 28. And that's a difference of 12, right? Because 12 plus 16 is 28, right? How many books does Jill purchase at 17? Well, at 17, she purchases 10 books. At $5, she purchases 16 books. Okay. Now, which consumer is the most sensitive to a price decrease? Really, the way we want to answer this is with a thing called elasticity, which you're not going to learn about yet. But we're going to talk about it right now. We have the spreadsheet. We're going to calculate the percent change in the price. And we'll calculate the percent change in quantities demanded. And then we'll be able to calculate the elasticity. So this is going to be an introduction to what you're going to learn in a week or two. So the percent change in the price is currently $5, right? So A6 is this blue box, and in this blue box is the number 5. A6 is in column A, row 6, and that number is 5, right? So the price is 5. What was the price? Well, the price was 17, right? The price was 17. Right? So the price is 5. It was 17. We're going to divide that by what the price was. Well, it was 17. And we get about 71%, right? We get about 71%. Okay. So the price dropped from 17 to 5, the price dropped 71%. How much does Lil's quantity demand go up in terms of percentages, right? In terms of percent. Well, in order to calculate that, we have to get the quantity she demanded at 5. So at 5, she demanded 15. At 17, she demanded 9, right? So this is what she is demanding. This is what she was demanding. And we divide that by what she was demanding, 9, right? So when the price drops 71%, her consumption of that good goes up 67%, right? And then we can just drag this for Bill and Jill, right? So Bill's consumption increases from 16 to 28, which is a 75% increase. Jill's consumption increases from 10 to 16, which is a 60% increase. And all of these involve the same price change, right? So 71% decrease in prices results in a 67% increase in consumption by Lil, 75% increase by Bill, and a 60% increase by Jill. And the elasticity is just the ratio of those two, right? It's just the ratio of those two. So we're going to take that and divide by that. That should be not a percentage. Okay, so these are called elasticities. And you want to ignore the negative sign. The negative sign means, it just means when the price goes up, quantity goes down. We want to ignore the negative sign. So Lil has inelastic demand. Lil and Jill have inelastic demand. Bill has elastic demand. Lil and Jill are more, their demand's more inelastic, so they're more insensitive to a price change. Bill's demand is elastic because his elasticity is greater than 1. So Bill is more sensitive to a price change. So when you're looking at who's the most sensitive to a price decrease, you want to look at the elasticity, and the one that is most sensitive to a price change is one that has the greatest elasticity, and that would be Bill. Another way to think about this is look at the sheer increases. 9 to 15 is an increase, but by not much, right? 16 to 28 is a pretty big increase. 10 to 16 is not that big of an increase, right? But you don't want to just look at the increase. You want to look at it in terms of percentages. So 28 minus 16 divided by 16 is going to be bigger than 15 minus 9 divided by 9, or 16 minus 10 divided by 10, right? So it looks like Bill is the most sensitive to the price change. And when you're looking at price sensitivity, you want to look at the percent increase in the quantity that they consume. And in percent changes, Bill has the biggest, right? Now we want to graph the market demand curve. So we have the prices, and we have the quantity that is demanded in this market. So at the price of 17, the quantity demanded was 35, right? But is 59 when the price is 5, right? When the price is 5, the market participants collectively demand 59. Okay, so now we're going to do what? Now we're going to plot this point, 17 and 35, with this point, 59 and 5. Let's do 5 and 59 first. So at a price of 5, the market participants collectively demand 59. So this is the price of 5. The horizontal axis is the quantity. So we have to start at 5 right here. The price is 5. This is quantity 0. Price of 5, quantity 10. Price of 5, quantity 20. Price of 5, quantity 30, et cetera, until we get out to 59, right? So at this intersection of these two gray lines, the price is 5, the quantity is 60, right? We want the price to be 50, but we want the quantity demanded to be 59. So I just put it there for right now, right? So that looks right, doesn't it? 5 and 59. Now, what's the other point? The other point is when the price is 17, the market, the participants of the market collectively demand 35. So 17, so this right here is a price of 15 and a quantity demanded of 30. But we want to be at 35, right? 35 is going to be smack dab in the middle of 30 and 40, right? That's 34, that's 35, and that's 36, right? So there's 35, right? There's 35. And we want to go up 2 from 15. So there's 16, and there's 17, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the cell. We're also going to graph the supply curve here. We're going to graph the supply curve. So because we're only graphing half of the diagram, if we did it right, we'll get a yellow check mark. And it looks like we did the demand curve correctly, right? To get the green check mark, we need to correctly graph supply, which we're going to talk about now. Okay, now down here, we have two sellers of books in this market. We have ABC Books, and we have XYZ Publishers, right? So I want to copy this data. Again, I'm going to grab something outside of the table to preserve the table formatting, so it's not all pasted into one cell. And then I'm going to right-click on cell A9 and click the second option, Match Destination Formatting. Then I can delete that right there. Okay, so again, these numbers are on the right side of their cells, and these letters are on the left side of their cells, right? So Excel sees this as a number, right? It sees these as numbers. Now I need to sum up the quantity supply. The price, again, we're going to make red. And then we're going to sum, add up 28 and 23, right? And we get 51. Pull that down, we get 43, 35, and 27. So 51, I'm going to hit the tab button, 43, tab button, 35, tab button, 27, and hit enter. Okay, so we're good, right? So ABC generally supplies less as the price goes down. XYZ Corporation sells or supplies less when the price goes down. Together, the market supply falls as the price falls. Okay. Now, again, these are pretty easy questions to answer, right? How many books does ABC sell at 17? Well, they sell 28, right? How many if the price is if the price is 5? Well, they only sell 10. So that's a drop of 18, right? That's a decline of 18. How many books does XYZ sell at 17? Well, they sell 23, right? And how many do they sell at a price of 5? Well, they sell 17. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that ABC is more price sensitive, right? We're going to type ABC there. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to calculate the elasticities. Okay. What I can do is I can just copy. I can copy this stuff from there down to here. Whoop. Okay. So let's just go through this real quick. Again, the price, the percent, the price, the decrease in percentages in price is what it is, 5, minus what it was, 17, divided by what it was, right? That's the percent change in the price, right? And these are the same, right? Because both are faced with the price going from 17 down to 5, right? Now, the quantity supplied is the percent change in the quantity supplied for ABC Corporation. The quantity supplied is 10 when the price is 5. The quantity supplied of ABC Corporation is 28 when the price was 17, right? So it's the is minus the was divided by the was. And then the same thing goes for XYZ Corporation, right? Quantity supplied is 17 when the price is 5. The quantity supplied was 23 when the price was 17. So it's the is minus the was divided by the was, right? And then the elasticity is just the ratio of these two numbers. And the bigger the elasticity, the more sensitive the company is to a price change. So we were correct. ABC is the most sensitive to price decrease. Right. Now, at a price of 17, what is the quantity supplied? Well, that's 51, right? Collectively, the two companies supply 51 books, right? But is 27 at a price of 5, right? Okay. So we're going to use these 2 points, or this point and this point, to graph supply. So at a price of 5, the quantity supplied is 27, right? So here's the price of 5, quantity 10, 20, 30. 27 is closer to 30 than it is 20, right? So let's just guess right here for a second, right? Now, what about when the price is 17? Well, the price is 17 up here, right? But the quantity supplied is 51. So we got to be just on the other side. That's 17, right? It's the same height as that height right there, right? So we got the price right, but the quantity is just 1 to the right, right? Now let's double check this point down here. We know 5 is good, right? So let's just double check. So this should be 27, right? Whoops. Oh, man. I got to clear. I just made a mistake, right? I got to redo the demand curve. So the demand curve, you got to be really careful. I put a third graph on there. The demand curve, 17 and 35. So 17 and 35, right about here, right? And then 59 and 5, right there. We'll come up here. Okay, so 35 is in the middle, then up 1, 2 to 17. So that's the demand curve. All right, so hopefully we didn't mess that up. And we got to come down here and get the supply curve. So 5 and 27. 5 and 27. Probably right about there. And then 17 and 51. Right? Oh, I got to move that over. I just did it again. All right, let's, third time's a charm. 17 and 35. And 5 and 59. So this 35 is right smack in the middle. Right, and let's just make sure that this is 17. 1, 2. Okay, now we got to do the supply curve. 17 and 51. So 17 and 51 right about here, right? That looks good. 17 and 51. And then 5 and 27. 5 and 27. So 5 and 30, 5 and 29, 28, 27. There you go. I think that's good. Let's see if we got it right. Hopefully we got it right. Oh, we got it right. Okay, so that was a struggle, right? So we have the supply curve, upward sloping. We have the demand curve, downward sloping. And we're almost done, right? We only have a few more things to do here. Okay, when the price is 17, quantity demanded was what? When the price is 17, quantity demanded was between 30 and 40, right? 35, right? So quantity demand is 35. This is what consumers want to buy at a price of 17. So 35. What if the two firms want to supply at a price of 17? When the price is 17, they want to supply a little more than 50. 51, right? So firms are supplying more than what is being demanded, right? And that difference is 16, right? The difference, 35 minus 51 is a negative 16. Let's go over here and double check. 35 minus 51, right, is minus 16, right? So the demand, what consumers are purchasing, is a lot lower than what firms are supplying. So this is a situation where you have a huge excess inventory. And when you have a huge excess inventory, that is called a surplus, right? And what do you want to do in a surplus? Well, when you're supplying a lot and people aren't buying much, you got to get rid of your inventory, right? And one way to get rid of your inventory is having a sale. So you lower your price until the quantity demanded just equals the quantity supplied, right? So we'll hit enter to see if we got it right. Cool, surplus, right? Now at a price of 13, what's quantity demanded? Well, 13 is between 15 and 10, right? So, and it's closer to 15. So that looks like 13 there, right? The quantity demanded looks like it's just above 40. The quantity supplied looks like it's just above 40. So the quantity demanded is 43. The quantity supplied is 43, right? So both these are equal. And their difference is 0. Now, when we're in a situation like that, we call that an equilibrium, right? We call that equilibrium. When at a price, when quantity demand equals quantity supplied, there's no surplus, there's no shortage. We call that an equilibrium, right? There's no tendency for prices to change. Now we got the last situation, 9. When the price is 9, just right about here, looks like quantity demanded is between 30 and 40. I mean, quantity supplied is between 30 and 40. And then quantity demanded is roughly 50, right? So when the price is 9, we demand 51. collectively, right? And the two firms want to supply 35, right? They want to supply 35. And 51 minus 35 is 16. Okay. In this situation, very little is being supplied, but a lot is being demanded, right? So this is an empty shelf situation. This is where the shelves are empty, like during COVID, when you go to the supermarket and the paper towels and some canned goods and toilet paper were always, the shelves were always empty. There was never any supply there, right? As soon as supply got on the shelves, people gobbled it up. So what we're saying there is that maybe the price should have been higher. Maybe Walmart should have been charging a higher price. Then it wouldn't have had these empty shelves, right? And so we call that a shortage, right? Call that a shortage. Okay, and that's our first lab. Let me show you how Desmos works real quick. Okay, in Desmos, I can actually just copy this equation here, I think. Maybe I can't. Okay, for some reason I can't copy that. Let me just type it. So the price is 34.5 minus 0.5 Q. We don't want to use the subscript D, because what happens here is Desmos considers the Q and the D next to each other as two different variables. So it wants to multiply Q and D. So we can't use D there, right? And then I'm gonna do the supply curve. The supply curve is P equal to a negative 8.5 plus 0.5 big Q, right? And we can come over here, we can graph it, right? We can zoom out. I'm zooming out over here. Okay, so the blue equation is the blue upper sloping line. The red equation is the demand curve, the downward sloping line, right? And guess what the equilibrium is? You can just click on the dot right here. Whoops. You can click on their intersection. 43 and 13, right? 43 and 13 is their intersection. That's where demand meets supply, right? At a price of 13, quantity demand is 43, quantity supply is 43. Now, here's a cool thing you can do. You can say when the price, now P is the y-axis, right? So you have to use y here, lowercase y. You can say when y is 17, right? It'll grab a horizontal line. If y is 17, what is quantity demanded? Well, that's 35, right? What's quantity supplied? Well, that's 17. Oops, sorry. When the price is 17, the quantity supplied is 51, right? When the price is 17, the quantity supplied is 51. Then I can lower this down to, I don't know, what was that, 9? So when the price is 9, the quantity supplied is 35, but the quantity demanded is 51 when the price is 9, right? So here, what's going to happen is firms are only supplying 35. Consumers want to demand 51, so consumers bid the price up until we get to an equilibrium, right? And that's why we call it an equilibrium, because price doesn't have a tendency to change once demand and supply meet. And that's video lab 1.